This is the Vegan Pulse. I am your host, Nancy Arenas, sharing stories from compassionate individuals from all over the world. Today, that individual is Keith Akers. Keith is a writer and an activist. He has published 4 books, Embracing Limits, Disciples, The Lost Religion of Jesus, and a Vegetarian Source Book. Currently, he is co-organizer of Denver Vegans, where he is now living with his wife, Kate. Keith's objective is to change the world through simple living and veganism. Let me introduce him to you. Hi, Keith. How are you?
I'm just fine. How's it going?
It's going well. I appreciate you being on the Vegan Pulse, and you have an exciting book I want to talk about. But before we get there, I like to ask my guests how they came to veganism. So that is my question to you. How did you come to veganism?
How did I come to veganism? Well, it's a long story, but to cut it short, I'd say that I first became interested in vegetarianism and veganism around 1974. I didn't become vegan until 1980, but I became interested. I started meeting some other people who were vegetarians and one vegan, so I started worrying about this, and I tried it. I tried to go vegetarian. Never tried veganism for quite a while. But I tried vegetarianism, but I would go on and off. I would do it for a couple of months, then I would say no, it's not. This is not going to work. And then Thanksgiving, the turkey, et cetera, et cetera. So that went back and forth for about 4 years until 1978, when I read Animal Liberation by Peter Singer, and which of course a lot of people have read and were reading at that time as well. And I just read a few lines of the chapter on factory farming when I said, "That's it. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to go vegetarian." I said, and then I put a little footnote in my mind, and someday I'm going to go vegan, because I understood the factory farming piece and how the cows and the chickens and so forth were mistreated as well. But I didn't actually do it until 1980. So I've been vegan ever since then.
Well, awesome. Thank you, from the animals, from me, from the world, from everyone, for
Yes.
being vegan. And then you have a book that's coming out, Embracing Limits. I was reading through some of the chapters, very interesting and very full of facts and ideas that are quite impressive. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about Embracing Limits.
Okay. Embracing Limits, radical and necessary approach to the environmental crisis. Well, it's actually already out. It is out today, as of April 22nd, Earth Day 2023. It is out. I checked the website, and you can now order it. So anybody who wants to order it, go ahead. But I wrote it. I've been working on this for a long time. I first became aware of the problem that limits to growth was something maybe I should write about almost 20 years ago. And because I realized at that point that we're running out of the Earth's resources. It's not just climate change. It's everything. It's soil erosion, it's groundwater depletion, it's mass extinctions, biodiversity collapse, and all kinds of other things. It's we've got a number of different things pushing us to make radical changes in the environment. And the bottom line is that we have to get to a smaller economy. We've far overshot the limits to sustainable growth. We've shot way beyond it, and we need a smaller economy. A smaller economy means not as much consumption. We have to reduce personal consumption. we have to reduce human population, and we have to drastically reduce or eliminate livestock agriculture.
Yeah, and and sometimes I think, Mother Earth knows more than we do about how long this planet is going to last, and it also has been telling us forever. I'm a '70s hippies. We did ecology, save the Earth back then. We didn't do a very good job because here we are, and and all these catastrophes, weather events that we're having that displace individuals, that kill individuals. I don't know if that's part of Mother Earth trying to do exactly what you're saying. It's like, I can't sustain all these people. Wake up. We got to do something.
Yes, yes. It's interesting that you mentioned the first Earth Day. I was there. The saying on the back of the Environmental Handbook, which is the book they handed out to everybody, says, "Read this. This tells you what you need to know about the environment." And this was in 1970. So climate change wasn't even there yet, but there was all this other stuff that was going on. And the back of the book, it says, we cannot wait another decade for answers to the environmental crisis. They were right. It didn't sound like they were right, but it was right. That was actually the decade when we should have taken action and didn't. We said we got enmeshed in consumerism. Everybody's going to have more and more. We're going to be happy forever as consumers. And of course, when no apocalypse happened in 1980, 1990, nothing's really dramatic is happening. And so he said, well, I guess we can just disregard that now. But of course, now we're like staring the collapse of industrial civilization right in the face. We've got climate change, which we can't really easily deal with. And we've got, like right now, the Colorado River runs dry. I'm in Colorado. And the Colorado River runs dry by the time it gets to the Gulf of California and the Pacific Ocean. And where is all this water going? It's going to livestock agriculture, for crying out loud. And in the meantime, the people in Scottsdale, Arizona, there's a suburb of Scottsdale, Arizona, that they have to truck in their water. And there's this big crisis about, and Biden can't be pushed into solving it. Basically, there's only so much water in the Colorado River, and we've pretty much run through it. It's a renewable resource, but it's also finite. And the same thing applies to oil, soil, all the other stuff.
And I think that, so in your, on your book, there is I'm trying to call it up here for a second. There is a saying at the beginning of your book. And like I said, I'm trying to call it up, but if you,
the quote from Thich Nhat Hanh?
Yes.
Okay. In order to save our planet Earth, we must have a collective awakening. Individual awakening is not enough.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And what I was going to say, the reason why I wanted you to read that quote is because, as you were saying, the water, the soil, the water depletion, the soil depletion, there are places where people are killing each other over water, already, because there is no water. And we tend to get a little bit complacent and think, oh, I got water running out of my faucet. I don't know what they're talking about. I mean, we got climate change deniers, and they're not understanding that what we're trying to say is that, as you said, soil depletion and erosion, clean water are going away. And then for what? For a burger? For, you have to understand that we have to make some changes now. If we're lucky, we might even survive, because now we've passed kind of a very critical point.
Yes. And going back to the statement you made earlier about we need to understand what the Earth's natural constraints are. I think that the key thing is how much large animal biomass can there be on the planet. If you added up all the large animals, including us, because we're a large animal, we're over 100 pounds as adults, and put them on the scale, what would be the appropriate weight? Because there's only so much plant matter on the planet also. And animals rely on plants for food. And it's expanded about 7-fold since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. It was 200 billion kilograms in about 1500. It's about 1400 billion kilograms today. And about 2/3 of this is livestock. And 1/3 of it is humans, and a small percentage is everything else. All the elephants, bears, bison, and so forth. All of those animals combined are still less than 5% of the biomass of large animals. We really need to get back there, which means we need to get rid of the livestock as much as possible, and also probably reduce human population as well. But so it's quite radical. If we look at the natural limits of the Earth, what the Earth can probably sustain about 200 billion kilograms of biomass.
It's only quite. I was going to say it's only radical because we've let it go this far. If we were maintaining everything the way we're supposed to, then it wouldn't be such a big issue now. And one of the things is that we have to make sure that the people who are representing us in political arenas, whether state, local, or nationwide, that they step up already and say no more animal agriculture. Because every time I turn around, yes, there are slaughterhouses that are closing, but then there's somebody else who comes with this mega idea. Well, we can house this many. It's like, you're not getting it. What is it that you're not getting? We have to just stop using animals. That's it.
Yeah. The problem is that anything you do for the environment, if it's going to be effective, it's actually going to work, it's going to hurt the economy, because we have unrealistic expectations about what the economy should do for us. We think we can just proliferate the Earth and live any way we please, and that's not the case.
And soon is going to be sad realization for most everyone in the world. I mean, we know it, but it seems like everybody else is putting on their blinders. They don't I'm not listening. I don't want to hear.
Yeah. We need to spread awareness of limits, especially limits related to livestock agriculture.
And we have to live not as an individual, but as a community. We have to think about all of us, because if we think about all of us, then we think about us.
Yeah. I think that people can react in times of crisis. People become aware that we have to make sacrifices in order for the common good, to sustain the environment or the community or whatever. But this awareness has not yet penetrated everyone, and we need to make environmentalists aware of it. We need to make vegans aware of it as well, because I think a lot of vegans think, well, just go vegan and that solves everything. That's the first step. That's probably the essential first step, but it's not going to do it. We need to do other things as well.
Definitely, because I believe that veganism is a social justice movement, not just a diet or eat this or whatever. I think it encompasses a lot of things, like the climate, the soil, the water, our environment, human health. I mean, that is another big thing. And it's sad because every time I turn around, the people that I talk to about veganism, about how it's good for your health and it can reverse or stop from ever erupting cancer, diabetes, and whatever. And some of those individuals are now experiencing those. And it's like, we're trying to help. And you just need to understand, listen, do your own research if you want, but you have to get on board.
Yes, absolutely.
And we're coming to the conclusion of our interview, but can you tell us a little bit about your website, Compassionate Spirit, where people can go to? You have a blog and you have other informations where you break down all the necessary things that we should be looking into.
Yes, my blog is compassionatespirit.com, and you can access it very easily. It's been around for 20 years, over 20 years, and I started it first to promote another book that I had, Lost Religion of Jesus, which explores vegetarianism in early Christianity. And then over the years, I've continued to blog about a variety of different topics. And right now, it features, of course, my book, Embracing Limits, and you can order it there and so forth and so on.
And I will have all your information on the Facebook page, on our Vegan Pulse page, so that way individuals can reach out and definitely need to buy that book. We should maybe send it to every government official. Hello.
Yes. Yeah. Anybody wants to do that? I can give you a good deal on those books. I could give them away, basically.
So we definitely should be doing more than just eating vegan. And we should also be speaking out locally, and nationally to our representatives, whoever they are. And to tell you the truth, if they're not stepping forward with the steps that we need to do to get our planet under control, I say vote them out.
Yeah, we also need to be listening to people as well, because a lot of people are afraid because it's going to hurt the economy, what's going to happen to them. I especially like Rowdy Girl Sanctuary, because she's actually trying to help the ranchers, saying, we're here to help. We're not trying to run you into the ground or anything like that. So that's the kind of approach I would like to take, not only on livestock agriculture, but on all the other things. I mean, what are we going to do for the coal miners and so forth? Social justice is an important part of this, because who's doing all the consuming? It's the rich countries and the rich in each country. So there's all kinds of avenues of approach here.
And so with that, that's what I'm saying. So with that, Rowdy Girl has the farm movement, where it helps transition farmers out of animal agriculture to other things, which is an excellent program. That's what the government should be funding, those kinds of programs, helping people transition out of these things that are devastating our planet.
Yes, exactly.
And that would create more jobs. So you see, actually it would fix itself. So it's not like you're cutting off people and leaving them off on their own, where they can't sustain themselves.
Yes, we need to prioritize actually supporting the people, whether we have jobs. That's an important issue, but it's not the primary issue. It doesn't matter whether the economy is up and running right now. We need to support these people.
Exactly. Well, Keith, it was a pleasure talking to you. I appreciate you and what you're doing. And again, everybody, go out and order Embracing Limits and give it to your senators, representatives.
Mm-hmm. Read it.
And of course, read it. Bye-bye.
Okay, well, thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Until our next episode, live a life of kindness, a lifestyle that benefits your health, the animals, and the planet. If you have a pulse, you have a purpose. Live vegan.